Hi, I'm Linda Deir, and
And I'm Ray Holly. Welcome to the Valentine's Day edition.
yes, that's true. Well, it's not Valentine's Day
It
yet.
is for some of our people.
Well, it is for you and I.
Yeah, it is.
We had a session in Australia today.
Right,
So it was Valentine's Day in Australia.
right.
So depends on where you live, you know. Okay, so tonight you will experience what it's like in a personal coaching session with me, where you can speak to your guides. Ray will post the link to Angel Coaching with Linda. All coaching sessions are done over Skype or over the telephone. I'm the author of Guided. Her spirit guide angels were her best friends and life coaches. And this is my flagship book, my bestseller, and the first book I wrote out of 4 books so far.
That book won an award too, didn't it?
Yes, it did, Ray. What did it win?
It won the 2017 International Body, Mind, Spirit Book Award. That's pretty good for a first-time author.
I'm telling you. It really has. It is an amazing book, and it's been popular. So this is the companion journal to Guided, and I wrote this book. This is my 4th book. The first 3 books are on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and audiobook format. This one is available on my website, and Ray's putting the link up for that right now. For those of you who don't have it yet, it's a free download.
Free? How'd that happen?
The guides told me to make it
They didn't
free.
run that through the marketing department, did they?
It's a free download on the website, so on lindadeir.com. So be sure to have this. You want to get this, you want to sign up for it, then you want to print it out, okay, and have this available, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be on, there's 3 parts to my guided journey, and we're going to be on part 2, page 13. The fear returns, okay? Until you've identified what happened back in your early life, can you stop the cycle of repeating those decisions you made when you were ill-equipped and start making decisions based on your highest and best good now? Okay, so that's why you want to do that, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so let's see here. The subject the guides are going to talk about is the fear returned. Just before puberty, fear allowed your ego to step in for you. After all, this new wave of fear felt bigger than you. However, it was the ego that broke your connection to us, your spirit guides and angels, making you feel alone, which caused you to hand control over to your ego in the first place. You are really feeling the pressure of fear intensify in everything you are doing. It's been building up to this point, and your life is not getting easier. After the guides finish with their opening message on fear, you can start posting your questions regarding areas where fear has dominated your life. To do this, click on the video where it says, click for more. We use Ask the Universal Channel talking board for your guides to communicate their messages to you. Ray is the one they assigned to speak out their messages to you on this board. And Ask the Universal Channel is a trademark product of our parent company, Channeled Readings. And Ray just put a link up about the story of Ask the Universal Channel. It's interesting how it all came about and how it found me. I didn't go looking for it. Now, the guides will open this session about fear returning in your life. And I always take that breath, you guys. Anytime that you want to make a connection to your guides, or you're getting into session, with your own Ask the Universal Channel or whatever, always breathe, because that's what opens the connection to your guides. We're the ones that break it. We're the ones in the way of it. Your guides are always right here. We're the ones that block that. So remember to breathe, okay? And they're going to open the session, and here they go.
Good evening. It's nice to be here with you tonight. Fear always returns when you forget who you are. You can live with someone your entire life and really not know who they are. Not knowing someone can turn out to be a surprise, a disappointment, or a shock. Suppose the person you didn't really know was you. Now, another person could surprise you by you not knowing their hidden talent, that they were a great singer, or someone you've known all your life could be a disappointment when they let you down at an important moment. Or someone you've known for a long time turns out was robbing banks on all those out-of-town business trips. That would be a shock. You may have been sure of yourself at one time, but fear entered your life and you forgot who you were. Now you may be in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, and you can't even remember who this person is that you used to be. What do? It's time to examine what happened when it first happened. Go back to the time and look at what happened and just shortly before that time. It was then that you got off track. Next, you will take a life regression on paper by writing down in your journal, starting where you are now and going backwards to the point where the fear entered your life. At this point, you will acknowledge and face the fear and move away from it, never to go back.
All right. You know that what they're talking about is actually you need to read or listen to guided first so you really get your head around what this is and how humanity got off track. In part 1, chapter 1, one thing the guides came through and told me is he said, the biggest tragedy of your time, the times that we're all living in, is that most people will die having lived fear-based lives. And they see that as the biggest tragedy of our times. Imagine that. So fear is not something that you came here to live and experience and that was all there was. And then only to leave this world as a life of regret, that's not the high road. It's a road most people take. But it's not the high road, and guilt and all kinds of stuff plays into it. Shame that keeps you locked into fear, kind of dedicated to it. But that's really how it starts. So in my flagship book, Guided, you'll find out what the guides told me in the merry-go-round dream and why they showed me that, why they told me that, what my mission was to be in this lifetime. Here I am, with the guides helping you guys. And that's what really caused this to come about after Guided, with the thousands of fans that kept asking me and continue to keep asking me, how do I make this connection to my guides? How do I, get over the fear that something might happen and something could hurt me? See how one thing works against the other? This journal, My Guided Journey, free download on my website, this will walk you through it in part 2. We're on part 2, page 13, The Fear Returns. We're almost done with this now. You want to get this and you want to work through this. And when you go to my website, lindadeir.com, you get your journal, My Guided Journey. It's right on the right side, little video there. You want to go up to the top where it says blog after you get your download. Go to the blog page, and on the right side under categories, you're going to see it says number 1 - My Guided Journey. You want to watch the video associated with each page in part 2. So there's 19 videos in there, one where I introduce this, and the other 18 are directed at each page. And you need to watch those videos before you start writing down what happened at that time in your life, because I guarantee you'll enter into it with the wrong mindset until you do that. It's different than what you think. It actually works. Ray will just explain for a minute how he worked through it real quickly. Where you wound up on page 14.
Yeah, I know. I'm not like Linda. I didn't have access to my guides when I was a baby. I mean, I knew something was always there guiding me along the way, but it wasn't until I met Linda and really.
How old were you, Ray?
52.
So
I was already an ARP card carrying member.
Old dogs learn new tricks too. That's what he's about. That's Ray.
I'm more like you are than like Linda. You had a big advantage, and that's what everybody always tells Linda. You had this big advantage of knowing your guides before you were 2 years old, and they were with you all your life. Well, most people don't have that.
But look at him now.
Right.
He can bring them right through. I mean, he's a heck of a student, and I mean, Ray.
I was always a spiritual type guy, and studied, all kinds of spiritual things, metaphysical things, New Age things, other religions, and always found a little bit of each thing, a little bit of each one had something to offer, but never really found one thing or what was the connection to the guidance. The guidance is coming through. You get, guys tend to think of it as gut instinct, gut level feelings. It's more, women tend to say, well, it was my intuition. And guys kind of say, well, women have intuition, but guys don't have intuition. Well, yeah, they do. And I always had intuition and listened to it some of the time.
Yeah, when you listen to it, it really worked for you, Ray.
Yeah, what you find out is that eventually everything you've been hearing was guidance, and when it didn't work, it's because you usually didn't act on it quick enough.
Right.
So there's something about hearing it, getting quiet, listening to it, hearing it, and then believing in it, and then acting on it.
Okay, so
while it has shelf life.
Right. So fear.
Yep.
While you were learning all this, you were learning how to talk with the guides using the talking board. You were learning to remember your dreams. You were learning to, connect with the guidance and tell me, I just had a hit, Linda. This just came through, and I asked you to write it down. Right? Write it down, Ray. Write down your dreams. Write it all down. My Guided Journey in part 3 is where you write your dreams down, you write your guidance down, you write down your intuition, it happens all these different times. Like, Ray comes and he gets it from everywhere now. I've always received it from everywhere, but Ray, he gets it all the time. I mean, he's just like, he's right there.
What's interesting about how I approach the guidance is I always journaled. I always kept journals.
That's amazing.
And nobody told me to keep a journal.
And so did I. As a little kid, to survive what I survived, If you guys have read Guided or listened to Guided, you'll know that I had a challenging start. And to understand it all, not just the family that I was born into, but the guidance I got all the time and these amazing experiences I had because of my guides. I mean, it was always my free choice to step into it or not, but it was always there. It's a whole new life. This is the world that you're living in. This is this physical world, the illusion. It's the world between worlds, the one you came from, and then you spend time in this lifetime, and the one you go back to when you're done here, okay? So this is far from the end, and it's far from the beginning. This is just a continuum. It's like the inside of a sandwich, okay? That's this lifetime. But it's far greater before and after, all right? So there's really never anything to fear, you guys. Nothing here can steal your soul. Okay, you came here to experience this life and not let fear run you, not let people who promote fear have a hold of you. All right, that's what that's about. What do we have here, Ray?
We don't have any comments yet or questions. Don't be bashful out there. Just write your comments about fear or questions about fear or about the journal. Just write them in the feed.
Or about Guided. About Guided or the guides or how you contact them. Do you use your intuition? Do you remember your dreams? Do you use cards? Some people use the playing card deck. By the way, that was the original tarot deck, was the 52 card deck, until they created all these other decks that they called tarot cards, and then the angel cards, and they're all based on the same principle. And the talking board, this is based on the principle of dowsing. You guys have questions about this stuff or questions about fear in your own life? Okay, this would be a good time to ask that. And Ray,
we have a couple questions that you got through email over the last week.
Yeah.
One's from
Use it here.
Sarah, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Sarah says, Linda, I seem to be living a life of fear. I always seem to be afraid of something. That I won't have enough money, enough time, enough energy. Am I smart enough? Pretty enough? I'm also afraid of what people might say or think about me. It seems like I've always done this, but it's gotten worse since I got older. And then she says, I'm 46 now. What can I do to stop this?
Okay, so I'm going to translate this. What can she do to get her life back? That's really what happened. When she was really, really small. Part 2, page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. All right, right in there in that maze in the beginning of your life. It covers that, and the videos we did with it that I talked about earlier. That's when you're small. You're too young you're ill-equipped to understand all this. You didn't come from fear. You came from love, okay? And fear, what's this? No wonder it scared you so much, all right? So Ray, do we want to have the guys just answer them on this?
Okay,
answer her
that
on
was
this.
our last part of her question here. It says, what do
We're going to let the guys answer you on this.
What can I do to stop this?
Yeah.
She's afraid of everything. Been afraid all her life.
It's controlled her life, all right? And to some degree, fear has controlled everybody to some degree. So this is a pretty massive one in here. Her guides go.
Sarah, you are in the majority of people who feel this way. Society's pressure and advertising makes you feel like you need everything and won't be happy until you get it. This constant feeling of lack and the programmed solution you hear and see on TV relentlessly is pushing you into non-stop consumerism, which has become a mental illness. Stop gauging the quality of your life on what others have or what they can do. Instead of going out and buying more stuff, start giving away and selling the stuff you have now. Whatever is left that you value as priceless is the only stuff you will need.
Okay. Many, many times when people get to the point, I only know this from coaching so many people about this, is many times what happens is around this age, 47, it could happen in your late 30s, but definitely by your 50s, by your early 50s, you get sick of this fear running your life. You may not know what it was or how it started or whatever, but you're tired of living a life of compromise. That's what fear is. It's a compromised life. And just something happens where people, they put their foot down. What that really means and what's really going on, this is your second chance to get this right. It's your moment of awakening. You may not be, completely spiritually awakened, but you know something's not right and you're sick of it. And that's guidance, letting you know that it's time for you to look at that. It's time for you to deal with that and stop letting it control you. Stop letting it have so much power. It started when you took things personally, when you cared about what somebody thought about you, like what Sarah talked about. She cared about, what someone might say or, do. Who cares? You didn't come here to live their life. You came here to live your life. So power yourself up. And the only way you can do that is to do the work in part 2, take the journey. There's 18 pages there with associated videos on my website to get you guys all started in the right direction. And identify what these things are that are getting in your way, that caught you off guard when you were little, okay? Before you knew something more was going on, you had this connection to your guides. You were happy in your world, but they kept pulling you out of it over here. And it's not like you didn't need to really wake up to this world. I mean, after all, you came here, so you got to work it out. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, That's where you keep them both together and you start becoming one and you put yourself back together again, okay? And when fear shows up, then you look at it and you go, oh, there might be a tsunami could be coming. Well, that's a sensible fear. I need to get inland. I need to get out of harm's way. Oh, there's a train coming down the track. You're having a little picnic there. I don't know. It's time to move my little picnic off the track, let the train go by, and I can have my picnic again. The point I'm trying to make is, don't let fear run you. Notice what's going on around you. Respond, okay? But don't assume it's everywhere. Don't get paranoid. And that's what's happened. People have let it just consumerism, what they were talking about to Sarah about advertising, get you to buy stuff, buy a new car, a new house, new clothes, dating sites, all this. It's all designed to distract you, not to let you find who you are, not remember who you are. You don't need any of those advertisements to show you what you are. They all show you what you aren't and what you lack. And that's where fear starts, okay?
And that's why it's called programming.
Yes,
I mean,
right.
They start when you're a little kid. They start programming you to
Right.
eat terrible foods, to...
Right. Because you're in a hurry. Well, so what? That's okay. No, it's not okay. It's all compounding. And here you are in your life. You're 37, you're 45, you're 52.
66.
That's old, Ray. But wherever you are, that's a wake-up call. That's time to, okay, second chance. Let's get in there and let's stop this. Yeah.
Okay, we have a comment and we have a question.
Okay.
Brenda is with us.
Hi, Brenda.
And Brenda has a comment. Most of my life has been fear-based. She's just now learning to live a life trusting her guides and love.
Okay. Trusting your guides will be equal to trusting yourself.
Right.
Okay, so the guides will always, and in my book, Guided, I don't know if you have the book, Brenda, but in my book, Guided, the first thing they showed me, they presented me with, and I made the choice to step into it or not, free will, was who I was. They knew that. Until I knew who I was, I couldn't trust anybody else. I couldn't trust even the guides. I had to know who I was, all right? So that's what this does. My guided journey takes you back on that journey in part 2. Take that journey, Brenda, and it brings you back to who you are by showing you where you left off when you were a little kid, where you made a snap decision and you've been kind of living it out ever since. Rewind, that's what they talked about in the opening message. Rewind your life and examine that, and you'll see it instantly. That's not a choice that you would make, but it's one that you've been playing out like on automatic because you forgot that decision you made back there, and how it's compounded itself as you've grown through the years, and the stakes got higher, so you felt more threatened, and then it was a reaction, a knee-jerk response. You didn't take the time to go, I'll sleep on it. I'll let you know tomorrow. You need to all of you need to take your control back. Don't let people push you around.
And on the same note, she mentioned trusting people and loving. I mean, trust and love kind of go hand in hand, but sometimes people get them mixed up. Trust always comes first, and then love comes second. I mean, when especially when you look at relationships, you can always love someone you trust,
Ray,
but you can't trust everybody you love.
You know something? When I met Ray, I this is the only reason I can say this. When I met Ray, I took 2 weeks to, I kept him out here, right? I wasn't sold on going that way. Now the guides set me up. They sent him in, all right. And I didn't know this until later. And when you read Guided Part 4, you'll see how that worked out. But I didn't. I had been through. I'd had it with
Men.
I guess that was it. I was done. And
You were single for a long time.
I was. And so for someone to break my walls down, tear down my walls and tear down that wall. It took a lot, but it didn't because of the guides. The guides came through. They let me know he's the one. Now, I'm talking about outside of all of his flaws.
All my flaws, like I was married?
You guys, he had flaws.
Like the major one, I was married? By the way, our anniversary is 2 weeks from tomorrow.
It is.
The day we met.
Yes.
2 weeks from tomorrow. You had been single for 6 years, over 6 years. not looking for a relationship, not looking to get married.
Mm-mm.
And I had been single for 2 weeks. And I proposed to her within 15 minutes after I met her the first time.
Still married.
Well, no, I took care of that.
But that was my number one rule, right? Never go with married guys.
I knew, so that's why I brought it up right up front.
No, you didn't know that.
Well, that's the first thing I told you.
Well, it was probably the smartest thing you did.
Second thing I told you.
Yeah. So, in any event, where were we going with that, Ray?
Well, the trust and the love thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
That's what she said.
So I'd say that love caught me off guard, but I was going like this, okay? And then later on, I knew who he was. I mean, it went past trust. It was something I just knew. So it was me that trusted my knowingness. That's where the trust came in. The love just showed up. It was like, there it was. It's not something you can guard yourself against because you don't even know it's going to happen. You're not looking for it, you know? So when you have a clean slate, you're coming in where you're not looking for something and it happens, you guys, it doesn't get any stronger than that. That's guidance. That's a collection of different choices that they've been showing you and you've been stepping into it. It didn't just happen one day. It was a collective of choices I made that guided me to that moment in time where Ray happened to be and I happened to be. And we followed that guidance and there it was. If we just learn to go with the flow, that's what I think Brenda is talking about here, is just be easy and in the moment.
Trust yourself and love yourself first.
Yeah. You have to know who you are. And loving yourself becomes a byproduct of all this. You don't have to go out and love yourself. In fact, you can't.
Yeah.
You have to do the things that you love, and you have to honor who you are and learn about who that is before you can. How could you love someone you don't even know? That would be you.
Right. And these people who tell you, you just need to love yourself more. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about.
That is a frustrating comment. When I hear that, I get hot because it's like, you got to be kidding. That's the cart in front of the horse. It's not how it works, because I know.
Yeah. And we're not talking about lonely people. We're talking about people who have a lot going for themselves, are clear thinkers, and they don't love themselves yet. You can't just turn on a dime and one day say, well, I'm going to love myself.
Yeah, if you meet somebody who is a clear thinker, they can turn on a dime, and they don't love themselves, that person is someone who is not doing what they love.
Right.
They might be good at it, but
Right.
but they're not doing what they love. And so as long as you don't do what you love, you know that you're not doing your best, even if you're doing really well at that. You know in your heart of hearts that you need a course correction. That's what it really means. That's what they were telling
Right.
Sarah. Ray, do we have anything?
We have a question from Olivia in Australia.
Hi, Olivia.
We talked to one of your neighbors today, Olivia. I have a question about fear. When I was writing in my journal, part 2, she discovered that when she was about 1.5 years old, her dad really scared her with his violence, and it shocked her. I'd like to ask my guides about this, and if this was one of the first fears that compromised me and caused me to spiral into self-doubt, shame, and guilt. Thank you.
And they're going to answer you on that, Olivia. Well-formed question.
Right.
And here they go.
Congratulations on remembering, as most people cannot remember back that far. But it was such a shocking situation that it stuck with you in your subconscious and has affected much of your decision making and how you live your life. By going back to that time when it happened and facing your father now that you are stronger and telling him that he has no right to speak to you that way, and that he's doing it because he doesn't like himself, that you can get past it and resolve it once and for all by facing this one fear. You can erase all the rest of the collateral damage.
I have a question that I'm going to ask for you because I feel this. Who's speaking to Olivia? Who told Olivia that message?
It was us who were with her at that time.
And okay, here's what I'm feeling. Why do I feel Olivia's father is here?
Olivia's father was here last week and is in the background.
So he was here with us in session with Olivia?
Last week when we talked about anger.
So it was last Thursday.
Yeah.
On Facebook Live. I could feel him, all right? And Olivia, I'm just going to say it because you need to hear this so I don't forget this, is your dad is trying to, from the other side, he's trying to help you with this. Now, he's not a guide. You've got your own guides that are with you always. But he does not want you to suffer. He knows what he did. From where he is now, he can see what he did, and he knows what he did, the damage. He knows the damage he did to you, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, all right? And he wants to help. So he's here. He's part of your healing.
Okay. We have a long question and some comments here from Linda Goodwill.
Who is this, Ray?
Linda Goodwill.
Okay.
Goodwillie.
Hi, Linda.
That's a nice name. I love that name.
I do.
That's
too.
my favorite name. Linda, would my guides please tell me if my husband, who does not want to retire at 62, cannot do that and feel comfortable and safe to do that, knowing our finances will be fine. My husband and I have been married for 38 years. My husband retired after 34 years with the fire service. He immediately went back to work and now has had surgery for prostate cancer. We are both afraid he may still have some of the cancer left in his body. Our children are grown and gone and neither speak to us. We need to make each other a priority now. We were good parents to our boys and now they're men. I'd like to downsize and sell our home to make things much easier for both of us. I'm 62 and disabled and I can't work. I'd like for us to both concentrate on us and our health. I've journaled for a long time. I feel it is guided, maybe automatic writing, so she feels that it's
very
automatic
good.
writing.
Oh boy.
Automatic writing is very cool.
It is. It's based on the principles of dowsing.
Right, just like we're doing here, just like a pendulum.
Right.
I feel it is from the divine telling me things that she needs to know now. Thank you for your book. It is amazing. See, other people think it's amazing besides me.
I know.
I have the audiobook, and I've listened to you narrate your book fantastically. Thank you. Well, thank you, Linda.
Leave a review, please, Linda, okay? Reviews really help other people connect with it. I would really appreciate that if you would do that from where you got it, okay?
So there's a lot here. If
Okay,
you want to break it down.
there's a lot here. And I don't know, this is a book, it's a reference book. It's by Louise Hay. And I don't even know Louise Hay. I don't promote anybody else's stuff. But this is an exceptional book. It's on, I would recommend getting it in the paperback format. It's called You Can Heal Your Life. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, okay? And you'll see that it's like a reference book. And when you talked about prostate
cancer.
And prostate cancer, I'm going to read to you what the spiritual symptom is. Like, what is it that causes that spiritually, okay? And this goes way past the medical reference books. This is how come this happened. Okay, hold on. Prostate problems. Mental fears weakened the masculinity. Giving up. Sexual pressure and guilt. Belief in aging. Okay, so there's a fear of getting old.
Yep.
All right, that's part of it. And then let me go to cancer. Now that's just prostate problems. All right. Now cancer. Hold on a minute. I know what it means because we've had a lot of people that have worked through that. Cancer comes from deep hurt, long-standing resentment, deep secret, or grief eating away at the self. Carrying hatreds. What's the use? Anger. Okay? Yikes. So this book by Louise Hay, you guys, you should all have it. Something comes up with you physically. It could even be an allergy, like what Ray has. And you could just find out all about Ray just by reading about his allergies. Or whatever it happened, a toothache. There's no accidents, okay? So
everything is energy. Everything in your body is energy. And every time you get any kind of a disease, it's an imbalance
of energy for a long time.
Right.
Remember in the opening statement the guides talked about, they said that things happened a long time ago. They actually started long ago. Had you known about it then, like 10 years ago, before it manifested physically into something that's demanding you listen now. That's all it's doing. It's using your body to finally wake you up, right? You don't want things to get carried away like that, okay? And if you have something that's going on, you can get it right when you understand it. When it's not just something that you got, but it's something that has been eating away at you for years. That finally the body responded by, it's the law of attraction. It responded with all that weight and negativity, and it finally created something that aligns with that negativity. Don't go that far. Don't wait for that to happen. So, but I want to get back to her question. I wanted you to understand that. Get that book.
Okay, so that kind of explains why he went back to work as soon as he retired after 34 years. He went right back to work. Fear that if he just sat around, he'd get old.
He'd get old. That is a very good point. I love this guy. Has he learned or what?
Sometimes I amaze myself.
And that's the whole point. You see how you start to see, Ray's been connecting the dots, writing in the journal, writing his dreams down, writing his intuition down, what he's been getting for years now. And that's why he can do it like that now, because he's used to doing it, all right? And that's the whole point in learning how to do all this, is it becomes second nature to you. And so the minute you catch yourself feeling that feeling inside that works against you, where you go, oh, that doesn't feel right, your truth center. This is your truth center. And when it doesn't, when your gut feeling tells you, no, okay, or that's not right, or I know that's not right, you listen to that. You always listen to that. Or if something is out of balance and something's wrong, how you need to go to work on it. You need to start journaling what it is that's out of balance, like Ray was saying. Okay, out of balance, whatever it is. And I'll tell you what, once you start writing in here, that would be in part 3, the journaling. There's the journey in part 2, the journaling that's ongoing in part 3. Nothing will catch you by surprise again. Nothing will get carried away where it's got a hold of you ever again, because your awareness is sharp. You're paying attention. All right. So let's get to her.
Okay, so they're on the right track.
Okay.
Now
right,
they're debating whether he should retire again. Okay. And he may or may not want to do it. They sound like they're in the middle, and they'd like to downsize their house. Their kids are grown.
Get some of the pressure off.
Yeah. Kids don't like them. They don't speak to them.
That's okay.
Yeah, we know how that is.
You know what that is? I want you to know that everything in your life, Linda, is guidance. Your kids blew you off. All right. If you read my book Guided, you'll understand why I know this. Okay, it's so well. And Ray,
I have one of those too.
Ray has one too. So what happens is when they do that, I even said to Ray, I go, you know what happened? Our kids gave us our lives back. There's no such thing as they blew us off and they don't care about us. They never appreciated us. What is wrong with them? We could have gone that way.
Yeah.
Okay. But I even have a grandchild. Okay. It's all gone. It's they would not.
You're a grandma?
I am. I'm probably
Almost a great grandma.
Probably. So in any event, what I'm trying to say is we didn't choose to look at it that way. We chose to look at it like it must have freed us up to do the project, to have more time to focus on what we need to do, to help all the people who want our help.
Right.
Not the ones where we're a pain in the ass.
Right.
All right, I am going to use those words because that is the truth. You got to be able to look at what is. You can't help what they did. That's their lives. You have no business butting into it. We stay out of our children's lives, all right? But I feel blessed that, they leave us alone.
I mean, there's a reason, a very good reason for that rule. You put your oxygen mask on first before you put it on your child.
And
you save yourself first. Because if you can't save yourself, you're no good to help anybody else.
Well, in my translation of that would be the best that we can be, as long as they don't want us around, is we can be an example. I mean, a really good example about when they get to the time that we are in our life, okay? They get to that point in their life, they're going to go, oh, wow, I see. And they'll understand us instead of us, complaining to them. What's wrong with you? You should be, grateful to us. And look at everything we did for you. And, we sent you to college and we gave you, did. Okay, it's nonsense. The fact that we never went there and we just went about our lives and we have a great project, great people we work with. How could we complain? They will see it later. Trust in that. Okay,
right.
So what's the question?
Okay, so let's get down to the questions here. The boys are grown. They want to downsize their house, make things much easier.
That's good.
That's very smart. She can't work. She's 62 and can't work. They just want to concentrate on each other and their health. And she's been journaling for a long time.
Oh, man, you are so far ahead of it, Linda. So the question is...
Well, not really a question.
Okay, I'm going to answer because I see where this is going.
Yep.
I
think
your husband...
Yeah.
Okay.
The guides would agree that you're doing all the right things.
Yeah. Your husband... The whole point here is your husband, if he quits, retires...
Again.
The word retirement kind of... but there's something there. We want to ask your guides... What do they see for your husband if he should take the, retirement route? Will the same things come up again where he has to, where guidance is asking him, remember this, guidance asking him to focus on his health or focus, what I mean by that is focus on his fear of dying, focus on his, what were the other things about the prostate? His anger.
Yeah.
Okay, focus on the things. Get this book.
Fear of getting old.
Fear of getting old. All the things that prostate brought up, that is in the shadow, it's still sitting there waiting for him to understand it and work through it. All right? Let's see what your guides have to say about his retirement this time and what he needs to look at.
the aversion to retiring again is financial. If you downsize far enough, you will be fine. You will have an income and be able to meet your expenses without being extravagant. It's time to enjoy your life, like you said, along with each other. And stop this worrying about thinking that there's more cancer there.
If you have something you want to ask about that, go ahead. But if it was me and Ray was the one, he was the husband here, I would definitely bring up things about, I'd get inside his head, ask him to go inside his own head, use the journal, and start writing out how in part 2, page 1 through 18, and make sure you watch the associated videos on my website on the blog page first for my guided journey. And I'd have him start working through the process so he can begin to identify with imbalances, in his life right now, how he made those early decisions, what caused him to make them, your husband, and how it plays into healing his life right now on a spiritual, emotional level. Because everybody has something. It doesn't matter. It could be somebody had a cancer scare or a prostate scare or, whatever it is. You don't even have to have a scare. But you just know. Something needs attention. Something needs to be balanced out. All right?
It's based on your fears.
It really is.
People who have a fear of not having enough money in the future have lower back problems. People who are afraid of the future get leg problems.
Right.
Isn't that strange?
Leg or foot problems.
Right.
Because
they don't want to move forward.
They're
afraid of moving forward.
Exactly. It's fascinating. But we get all these little signals and signs long before physical symptoms will appear in the body. Okay, long before. So there's no reason for those things to ever show up if we're paying attention.
Right.
All right.
Pay attention.
So get Louise Hay's book on You Can Heal Your Life and get the journal. All right, and start watching. Until you start journaling, you can say, well, I remember this one thing and I remember this other thing. But until you piece it all together, you're not going to have anything to work with. You're just going to have bits and pieces of, I don't know, I would kind of remember. It's not taking your life seriously. And if your husband's retired, I hope he's up to, taking himself seriously and start working through some of the things that he really came here to work out in this lifetime.
And enjoying each other, no matter what you're doing. Yeah. Okay, Linda, the other Linda, says, is her writing guided in her journal? Now, how would she know?
Say that again.
She wants to know if what she's writing in her journal is guidance.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now
that's a good question.
That is always what it's called, discernment.
Yeah.
Now, it's always wondering, and it's an intelligent question. You don't want to be gullible. You want to know when guidance is guidance, okay? One way you're going to know as you're writing in your journal, if everything you're writing in there that you feel may be guidance is all great and wonderful, then it's not guidance, you guys, okay? It's not that the guides come through and tell you really bad things. It's that they come through and they tell you what is. There are two things. The guides are truth and love. That's what they are. So they come through, they love you, and they always tell you the truth. Now, it's up to you to be able to handle the truth. They never worry about you being able to handle the truth because they know that you can. But if you just go, nope, I'm not having that truth. I don't want to hear that right now. That's inconvenient. That's going to throw off this and that I want to do. I'm not having it right now. Well, if that's what you're doing, write it down. At least write it down. Even if you're not going to act on it. Write it in here.
Right.
At some point in the future, you're going to go, boy, oh boy, had I only on my yellow brick road, I'll call it, had I only went that way, because you have to walk that way. They have no business interfering with your free will. So you have to walk that way. But if you chose not to, your free will, then really you needed a lesson. And that's why you did that. So it's not that you're not maybe paying attention or that you're stubborn. Maybe sometimes you needed to go that way because you needed to do it. I've done that. In Guided, in my book, I tell on myself where I got guidance. I mean, most of the time I followed my guidance, you guys. But there were a few times I didn't do it for certain reasons, and I tell on myself. I tell it like it happened. And it beat me up. I'm telling you. And I had some lessons. But I learned that. That's what makes me better now, you know? So you use your journal. You always want to question whether it's coming from you or through you from your guides. Okay, that's what you want to know the difference. Sometimes what you write in your journal, just say i.e. from me, and then you write out what you're getting, and then breathe it out. You can feel the shift happen, and then it's the guides, and then off they go.
All right.
You'll get to be. It's like automatic writing. That's what it's going to feel like when you really get on a roll with this, and you know it's reliable.
Okay, we have a lot of comments here.
Okay.
We have Sharon. Sharon is new.
Hi, Sharon.
Do you do readings?
I do coaching.
We do personal coaching, and I'm going to put up a link at the end of tonight. I'll put up a link where you can follow up.
Yeah, you can check it out.
Okay, Olivia says she's been calling on her dad and her ancestors in her journal writing to help heal the anger.
You know, Olivia, you connected with your dad being part of this solution coming through to help you solve this anger issue, just like I did, just like the guides did. They said he's in the background, but he's there. He's not your guide, but he's there because he's concerned about you and he wants you to get this, okay? And he's sorry about it.
Right. She asked him and told him it was very damaging. Okay, Teresa Diaz. This is resonating with her on many levels. I'm wondering what your take is on the theory that trauma from past lives can influence fear in this life, say, as a dramatic example, being burned at the stake. I don't know if I was ever burned at the stake. But
well, it's true, right?
Yeah.
And
is there any validity to that theory? That's probably something we could devote a lot of time to.
Well, no. I'm going to answer you right now. When you go into part 2, page 1 through 18 of My Guided Journey, you're going to start remembering things that happened when you were a baby. I mean, just the first memory you had, the first shock, like what Olivia said tonight. What she remembered was a shock. That's usually where it comes from, okay? And you're going to identify things that you're going to write in there that you may not see the first time you write it in, but you're just going to write it in there because you feel it. You know, you can feel it right here. That's the truth. You're not a victim. You're not seeing it from being, a victim and in this world and all that and taking it all personally. No, you're seeing it from the wisdom of who you are when you came here and looking at it from that perspective and seeing it for what it is. All right, knowing and feeling, and that's the truth. That will never lie to you. And you write that in your journal, you guys, and you're going to bump into all kinds of things, like things that you remember. It's called deja vu. Things you remember that it will wake you up. It will, like past life stuff, you will see some of that, okay? You will. And it's not designed to scare you. You guys, it's been one cycle after the other. You just keep on going. It's like a conveyor belt. Here you are from where you came from. Here you are in this life, and off you go. Here you go again until we get this right. It just keeps going. So absolutely. And you're going to see it when you write in part 2, as you take the journey. You're going to see little things show up, but don't write things in there out of fantasy. If you do that, you're writing fiction. That's not your journey. That you got off track. So make sure you don't put stuff in there that's make believe, that comes from you. This comes from you when you first got here, from the truth, because you feel it and you know it and you remember it. All right.
Okay. We have quite a few comments here. Sharon has, maybe it's me, but my daughter-in-laws and my daughter, I feel they don't like me because I'm a truth seeker and against vaccines, chemtrails. I'm very outspoken. What can I do well so they don't ignore me? I don't know if you understand what I mean. Feeling unloved by my family. Okay, now here's another question. But her boys love her. Okay?
Guided will let you know that I know what you're talking about.
Right.
All right.
She gave up on finding a man in her life, just like you did.
Yep.
Yeah. She's going to be 74 in March, and maybe she's too old to find someone. She doesn't know that I'm used to being alone for many years.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Well, there's a big difference there between being alone and being lonely. She says she's a very smart and happy person no matter what comes her way. As the reflection from family, it really doesn't bother her. She's used to it. Ha ha.
So it's the this is the same one that made comments about chemtrails and the kids think she's nuts and all that.
Her boys like her. The girls don't understand her because she's had a spiritual awakening.
Okay. So what?
Yeah. Most people have a spiritual awakening. They lose their friends and family.
You can't be worried about your daughters. You can't be worried about all these people that like you or they don't like you or they don't relate to you or whatever. It's really none of your business, actually.
Right. They used to like you when you were like them, and you changed, and they didn't.
What you do is you make the life that they're living more uncomfortable because you've understood some things, you realize some things that they don't want to be interrupted with while they're playing out the fantasy that they're playing out. It would put the kibosh on everything they're doing. The illusion. Okay, so you're anti-illusion. That's really what it is. And they're still having fun in the illusion. So how could you be in their life? You're a conflict, Now, I'm telling you that I understand this. I'm like you, raised like you. We understand you. But we don't try to get our kids to like us.
No.
But one thing I told my kid? I said, you may not like me, but you'll respect me in the morning. That's kind of thing where people that date, but you won't respect me in the morning. It's a joke, but it's not, because I always told her, you won't. I know you don't like me, but you will. But you do respect me, and she always did. She always respected me. She'd get mad at me, but she knew I knew, and that's just not real comfortable for everybody. Not everybody wants to. They don't want that much reality in their life. So don't worry about it. You need to be true to yourself, and you need to be with people like you.
Okay.
Okay.
Sharon.
Okay.
She's very observant. She feels that she's going to be 72.
Okay.
That's not very old.
No. How old are you, Ray?
I'm working on 72.
Well, we all are,
So the guys my age, she says the guys her age are looking for a nurse.
Right.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's funny. Or they're looking at my purse.
I love her. What's her name again?
Sharon. And then Sharon says the kids are all working and don't have time for her. They say I'm on Facebook too much and I'm retired and I have too much time on my hands. Well, maybe someday they'll be able to retire and have too much time on their hands.
Yeah, they're just jealous of you.
Right. That's jealousy showing its rearing its ugly head.
Right. So what?
Right. Maybe I should look for a man so I don't bother the kids so much. for like spending time and just even talking on the phone that are all too busy. For me, that's what they say anyhow, that they're busy. Hey, if they came over to your house to talk to you, they'd be on their phones. You know, they wouldn't be talking to you.
Right.
You know, it's kids are off in their own world.
Just let that go.
Yeah. These are all things. Sharon, she accidentally found us tonight. Accidentally. Can you imagine if somebody found us accidentally? Nobody finds us accidentally.
You know what? That's why it's called guided, you guys.
That's kind of like I met Linda accidentally twice the same day.
I know.
The first time she ran out the door. Didn't say a word.
Oh, man, I could feel the energy. I knew something was going on, you guys.
Yeah,
Anyway, what else do we have here?
Linda says she thinks he's afraid of his next cancer test will tell his doctor if he needs chemo or radiation. Well, there's so many alternatives to chemo and radiation.
Let him look into that.
Don't let them scare you. Look into everything.
Yeah, in other words, take the time to do your research, all right?
Yeah. Okay, getting back to Sharon, she accidentally found us tonight. A reason, this sounds like good advice to me. Yeah, that's it. There's no such thing as an accident.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you. We're here every Tuesday, Sharon. Same place, same time, so we'd love to have you back.
And what do the guides say about me? That's a pretty broad question. That's something that we probably should get into. The guides get very personal.
They do. I mean,
and when you ask an open
question, like, you need to be more refined. And
away from the group.
Is this Sharon?
Yeah.
Okay, Sharon, what we do, and you may have gotten it popped in a little bit late tonight. Like
we've had a lot of comments.
We're already over the time tonight. So this was about fear tonight. All right. So the questions that have been asked tonight from everybody has been about where they've been facing fear, or where whatever regarding fear, however it shows up, or whatever's going on, whatever questions they have. So we go by a certain theme each week. And as a matter of fact, Ray, do you want me to just talk about what we're going to do next week?
Well, let's get to some of those other questions. We're going to give them a little extra time tonight. No extra charge. Okay?
Okay, Ray.
All right. Since you're giving your book away, we're going to give them some free time.
Yeah. This is my guided journey. You can get this on my website.
Free.
It's on the homepage, lindadeir.com. Ray put it up at the beginning of the feed, you guys, where you can get this. And he also put my flagship book, Guided, at the top of the feed, where you can get it on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and audiobook format. You want to get this, and it's a book, all right? Okay.
A couple more comments from Olivia. She'd like to ask one more question. I would really like to help support my husband more. He's working over 16-hour days and is so exhausted and depleted. He doesn't feel he can stop because we have so many bills to pay, but he wants to sell his business and transition into his new business. Do my guides and his guides have any guidance on how I can help him? He's really struggling. I'm concerned for him and want to help him to improve the financial situation. Okay.
Here they go.
You can't function properly and at a high level without rest. You can't get ahead by working more and harder. You get ahead and are able to think clearer once you are both rested and have a clear mind.
You know, it's just like guidance. When I talk about the guidance, you guys, if you have fear interrupting your life, fear, or panic, or you're exhausted, whatever, you know, any of those feelings that work against your optimum energy, then guidance can't reach you. You know, it has it's sporadic. It kind of, you get at it once in a while, but then you're too tired. You're just wiped out. So you've got to take care of yourself no matter what better. If there's too many bills, get rid of some of the bills. You got to find a way, and I know that's hard to do. That's the only way to do it. Get the pressure off. At the beginning of Guided, I talk about the pressure and how it was the pressure I felt that broke the connection between me and my guides. And until that pressure was released, that's when my mom almost killed me at 20 months old, all right? In the moment that I asked for help, I asked someone to help me because I was out of options. The pressure was gone in the instant I did that. I didn't even know that would go with it when I was 20 months old. I didn't even know that would happen. And that's when the guides all showed up. That's when they all showed up all around me, all right? And when they looked at me, I was standing in all fours in a puddle of water. I guess my mom threw on me to revive me and walked away. And the guides just stood there looking at me, peaceful, calm, not concerned about me at all. The minute I saw them, I saw what they saw when they saw me. This was telepathy. And I remembered. I remembered where I came from. I remembered them. I remembered me and my reason for coming here. It all just showed up. So you can't do it when you're beat up. You can't. You can't. You've got to let it go. That 20-month-old baby, when I was 20 months old, I had still enough wisdom from where I came from to let it go in the moment I asked for help. And it worked. So I know it works now, except you're more invested in this world, and more disconnected, okay? It's just that, it's not that that's gone anywhere. It's not that you've gone anywhere or your guidance has gone anywhere. It's that your connection to them has atrophied, and now you're bringing it back, okay?
Okay. Linda says, very good advice. Thank you. Sharon, thank you. Olivia, it's funny that her mom can never see this truth until this day about her father being abusive.
Oh.
I used to threaten to my mom to tell someone that my dad was a child abuser.
Wow.
She just never took me seriously and always defended him. She can't hear it. Thank you guys so much.
And you know, Olivia, God, it touches me because it's the same thing I went through, and it took me so long to get myself back after being in that family, you know. And the thing that bothers me the most to this day about that family I grew up in, and I still don't understand it, I need a napkin, is that nobody stopped her, my mom. Nobody stopped her. In fact, to this day, the two siblings that I have that are still alive, they still look at me like I've got no value at all. Because they were so programmed to believe that from my mom. It's mind-blowing, okay? I can only tell you that you using this journal is going to wake you up in so many ways. It's going to give you back to you. It's going to get you back, Olivia, all right? You've never even had yourself until you do this and you get through this, all right? Ugh.
Sharon says, you made my day. You made our day.
Yeah. You guys, we all love you, man. We do this from here, all right?
Teresa, loved what Linda said about being a pain in the ass. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Sharon, she has no fear. Ha ha. That's good.
That I like her ha-has, by the way.
You're not old, by the way, either. We have clients who are in their 80s, almost 90, all over the world.
Yeah.
And Linda has coaching sessions now with clients in 16 different countries.
Right.
Bridget. Hi, Bridget.
Bridget just took a big trip to Europe.
Yeah, the trip of her life.
Yeah.
Do the guys have any insight for me about healing my sore heel? She has plantar fasciitis that she's had for almost 2 years. I've been focusing more lately on trying to get rid of it. Bothers her daily, keeps her from walking around as much as she likes to.
Okay, now we're going to go to Louise Hay.
Yeah.
You want to get this book. Now, I don't know her. I didn't know her, and I don't, promote other people's things. But when somebody has something good, I'll talk about it. And this book is called "You Can Heal Your Life." Get it in the paperback format, like I have here, because you've got to look at it. It's like a reference, and it's the foot.
Yeah, and Bridget thinks she's seen a lot of betrayal that she's experienced in her life, and she wants to know if this is one of the things that might keep her from moving forward. This foot pain.
Exactly.
First betrayal I can remember is when my parents cut up my beloved and dirty blanket when I was 3 or 4 years old.
Ooh. Not good.
Not good there. Any more insight about the foot?
Okay. Yes. Can I answer that?
Sure.
Okay. So in Louise Hay's book, feet represents our understanding of ourselves, of life, and others. Okay. The feet are powerful because there's probably more acupuncture points in the feet.
Right, than anywhere.
Than anywhere on your body. And it's your... You're going to love this. Louise Hay, I could add some things to this too. Your feet are your soul. The soles of your feet. Right? So it's your soul. It's what calls you. So when your feet don't cooperate, you're out of sync with your soul. Something is in conflict, all right? But we're going to let your guides talk to you about this. And read that last part of her question again, the part we're going to answer about the feet.
About her foot.
Yeah.
The
heel.
Yeah. She's had it for about 2 years.
Let me say this one last thing, Ray. The heel has to do with digging your heels in.
Right.
You're resisting. You're fighting it. Okay? Think about what that is. Go ahead, Ray.
She's experienced it for the last 2 years, and she thinks it might be tied to some of the betrayal she's experienced in her life.
Yeah, so you're still digging your heels in, and we're going to let your guides talk to you about this.
Starting with that blanket thing.
Ooh. Okay,
You don't burn
Bridget.
my blanket.
No. Okay, here. You go, Bridget.
There are several ways to address plantar fasciitis. Most of the techniques that last are physical exercises and stretches you can do on your own. There are many good video resources on YouTube.
Go to YouTube and look at them. That's your research for tonight or for tomorrow. Okay. So what else do we
Okay,
have?
let's see here. Sharon, all you said to me is so true. No, all the guide said to you is true.
Right. And me and Ray.
Right.
Right. What happens with these sessions, you guys, is the guides come through and they talk to you. Sometimes before they come through, I just feel it, and I have to tell you what it is I'm feeling. That's the coaching part. And the guides coming through is where they speak directly to you. And even you, after a while, you'll start feeling this energy. It feels like you're a horse at the gate. You feel heat start coming through your upper body, up through this area here. Ray feels heat coming through here, okay?
Yep, between my shoulder blades.
Yeah, when their energy comes through. So when you start feeling warm, okay, really hot, I mean, it could be a hot flash, yeah, but you're going to know the difference. And when you just start getting insight or you start feeling their energy come forth, you're getting insight, okay? That's another indication that guidance is right there, all right? They're trying to get something through to you.
Sharon says she's going to be with us next week. Olivia says she feels her mom didn't stop him, and she left her family a long time ago. Love you guys. It's waking me up.
Oh, man, Olivia.
Teresa, hugs to you. Linda. Okay, hugs to Ray, too.
What about Ray, you guys?
Yeah, Ray needs hugs, too. You can send Ray some hugs across the bottom of the screen there. You know how they go across there?
He loves it, you
Sharon,
guys.
she needs, I need that to my childhood. It was horrific.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get guided. You don't have it, get it, you'll be
If you haven't read Guided, I'm going to give away a couple of the secrets. Her mother tried to kill her for 16 years of her life and got away with it. And part 4 is my favorite part of the book, where she meets me and lives happily ever after.
There's 4 parts.
It does have a happy ending, doesn't it?
It does, Ray. And it can happen. You know, Ray and I met when I was 51 and he was 52 when we met.
Right.
And I was done, you guys. I was so done. And this happened. I mean, it had to be right or I wasn't going. In fact, I told my guides, for those of you who've gotten Guided, read Guided, or listened to it, or haven't, I said to my guides, I said, before I met Ray, just a little while before I met him, I said, you know, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. And I said, if the right one comes along, give me a sign. Well, it's the story, the stories in Guided, how they gave me a sign. It's an amazing story. Get the book.
So I'm going to put up the link to your Angel Coaching with Linda.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain what's going to happen next week. Next week, here on Facebook Live on Tuesday. Same place, same time. We'd love to have you all. The guides are going to be talking about the search begins. Now, this is on page 14 of part 2 of my guided journey, right? When the fear returned, it brought urgent attention to the loneliness that had gone on for far too long. You know, that soul, longing that something's missing, all right? This awareness has caused you to pause, become quiet, and observant. Now you're paying attention. You can no longer go about doing things the way you used to. The void has become haunting. Imagining the worst while holding on to some distant hope. Now that speaks to everybody on a different level. Your longing is so strong for this void to be filled. You start searching everywhere, out there, to find it. Your anxiety separated you from the love and from us, your guides. You can watch the video on The Search Begins in My Guided Journey. Ray just posted, did you just post the link?
I just posted the link so they can watch it.
Okay, so you can get a peek into what we're going to be doing next week. The video's there. And this is page 14. If you were on page 14 of My Guided Journey right now in part 2, this would be the video you'd want to watch before you started filling out that page, writing out what happened on your journey, all right? So that's true with every one of these pages in part 2, and you'll see them all there. That's the one that you're going to be watching tonight, but you can look to the right and see My Guided Journey, number 1, and you can see all the other ones in there too as we move through these, okay? So next week, same place, same time, same hosts, and the guides, they change. I'll tell you how that works. The guides align themselves and gather themselves together based on who shows up, all right? Tonight we had like 10 people on, right?
7 or 8.
And then you and I.
Yep.
So the collective of all of us attract the law of attraction, attract those guides in who speak to you, okay? So that's the magic.
That's the magic of the relationship.
It is. It's all about relationship. Whether you have an intimate relationship with someone or it's a relationship that's just a great person where you love that person. They're awesome to be with. And they help you figure things out. And they're fun, okay? I mean, what more could you ask for? Or your animals, your pets. No, they love you. They love you. And there's no excuse to ever be without love in this world, you guys. There's a way to get it, all right?
And they spend half their life waiting for you to come home from work.
And when you have love in your life and you feel the love, the connection to your guides is instantly open. That door's open. You don't even have to work at it. So you have a little pet, a little friend, someone in this world, that another person that you just love to be with. It's fun to be with. That makes you feel good. Your energy's higher. Your connection's stronger. All right. So go with the good feelings. Go with the people who appreciate you for who you are, and not fear of what you don't have or why you don't have it. Let that go.
Yep. Sharon, 6 p.m. next week is Pacific time. It's always 6 p.m. Pacific time, 7 in Phoenix. If are you in Phoenix, it'll be 7 o'clock.
So it's always, we go by Pacific and Eastern time because the time, it's always the same year round. No matter what our time is here, we shift our time to accommodate that. All right.
Sharon has one final question.
Yeah.
Do I have a brother?
Do you?
I do.
Oh,
I
do
have
you?
a brother. Yeah.
Oh, he does. You
Yeah.
want to? Oh, Ray
Yeah,
loves.
you
He loves it when he gets this question.
Yeah.
Too bad. Too bad his brother is such a.
A drug abusing alcoholic musician.
Would you believe it, you guys? How long's it been since you've seen or
I
talked to your
haven't
brother?
talked to him maybe 20 years or more.
See what happens? You can't. What happens is if you go with those people, they draw you down. It makes your life an unhappy life. You can't do it. You just can't do it. You've got too many people to love. You've got too many people to help. You've got too much good stuff going on to let one person rot all the apples, right? We know
it.
that. We know that. And it's too bad, you guys. I mean, I really tried, to keep it together with my messed up family to some degree, and especially my daughter, right? And my granddaughter. And I could sit here and say to you, it was so tragic. It was not. That would have been making it all up and doing what everyone else does. Oh, Linda, that's so tragic. No, it's not. And when they look at me, when I say that, they go, what do you mean? You lost your daughter. No, I didn't. No. She made it impossible to be in a relationship with her. And I walked away.
Right.
That's what happened. That's really what happened. It's no more than that. I don't have any gory details. The only way I'd have any gory details is would have happened would be had I stayed in it.
Right.
Okay, as she continued to rip me off, lied to me, all kinds of stuff, unbelievable things that she did, and believe her own lies. You know what? I couldn't take that. I couldn't be around that, and it just set me off. So I had to get it out of my life. I moved out of the state to get away from it.
And what did the family say when you became successful and moved out of the state? You abandoned us.
Oh, they said it before that, Ray.
You abandoned us.
I didn't have to leave the state for them to say
No.
that. When I left the nest at
Right.
16 with my life and became a success within 2 years, then I abandoned them.
Yeah, let's see.
And they said to me, you know, Linda, my mom says, family comes first.
Right.
I said, when did that start?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never came first. I didn't come second. I didn't come second, third, fourth, or fifth. All of a sudden, family comes first. Why?
It's amazing how much
They couldn't wait to get rid of me. And when I became a success, it was hard to get rid of them.
right.
They were becoming. Then they became. They came up with all these ideas. And they just wanted to see if I'd hit the bait. Right? You go fishing, you throw the hook out, and I didn't. I was like, no, I see right through it. I've had guidance my whole life. I see things for what they are. I'm not fogged over.
But what shocked them was that you were the least likely person to succeed.
Oh yeah.
They called you stupid, ugly, and you'd never amount to anything.
And
in
I
your
didn't
life.
get it.
And you never got it. They started pounding that in your head.
Yeah.
When you were 7 or 8, and made you stand up on the kitchen table and file by you, and each one of you told you that. So at 16, you didn't leave the family. You escaped the family.
That's what I did.
With no money, no car, no job, no skills, hadn't even finished high school,
And no fear.
and pregnant.
And no fear. You know why? Because I knew something they didn't know. I knew it. I always knew it. And I was fearless. I had absolutely no fear. You guys, there's no reason to have the fear. unless you're making stuff up,
Right.
do you have the fear? We create the fear by imagining it.
You create the fear, and it falls in line with what we talked about last week, compromise. The more you fear and the more you want to, say, have a relationship, the more you're apt to compromise to have. The fear makes you compromise in order to have a relationship.
Lower your standards.
You know, that's the way to have a relationship all the time. Lower your standards.
It happens all the time.
Right.
Look around you.
Only surefire thing that works. Lower your standards.
Lower your standards. And if you want the relationship you're in that's not working to work,
Yep.
lower your standards, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work, you guys. We're not suggesting that, all right?
No, that was a joke.
But we say these things so that you understand, and you're not alone. Golly. And if anyone wants you to subscribe to lower level thinking and stay stuck where you are and live out a compromised life only to leave it with regrets, no. That is not the life you signed up for, I promise you. That's not it. And this is how you're going to find it. You're going to remember it. You're going to uncover it, discover it. You're gonna uncover your hidden knowledge. That's what this does. That's what Olivia's doing. Olivia's going, whoa, yeah. At 3.5 years old, I remember the shock that my dad, pulsed through me the minute that he had that out of control anger blow up, and I was there completely caught off guard, and it disrupted me ever since.
Right. You're too small to do anything about it. You can't fight back at that point.
You don't even know what to say. That's your dad, you know?
Yeah.
So this is what you need to get over. You need to go back and revisit that, identify what it is, write it in your journal, and then look at all the pages once you have them all done, all 18, and go, okay, I've got it now. Now I'm not devastated by it. I can see it now rationally, and I'm going to get my life back. I'm going to make better decisions because I can see through it, you know?
Right. So we're going to leave you with this thought. A lot of people think they're alone or they're lonely, and they confuse the two. Being alone, first of all, you are never alone. We've showed you that. You're never alone. Alone is a state of being. Loneliness, feeling lonely, is believing nobody cares.
Right.
But we care.
And the people in on Facebook Live with all of us all care for each other because we all sympathize. We all understand. We all are evolving out of whatever that dysfunction was or that illness that showed up that gave us that scare or the warning sign or whatever it is. You guys, it's all there. It's not there to hurt you or scare you. It's there to guide you. Course correct, a little bit of course correction. Guides are always giving you one, always, nudging you a little bit, giving you it's always coming through calmly. They don't shout at you. If it's shouting at you, it's in this world, okay? Trying to get you to do something that benefits them, that favors them. Over here, the guides, there's no bias. There's no agenda. That's why you want this connection. You just clear all this up. And whatever drama or conflict or chaos that was going on, it's over.
All right.
All right.
On that note, we'll see you next week. We'll continue this
Fun.
wonderful discussion, the fun, next week. Anyhow, if you have questions, be sure send them to us on Facebook or email them to linda@lindadeir.com.
Yeah.
All right?
Good.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Good night.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.